Welcome to the Ed Newsstand podcast. I'm your host, Troy Reynolds. This is Season 3, Episode 21 of the podcast, and this week's episode is entitled Explain Everything. If you're familiar with different whiteboard options, then you are probably pretty familiar with Explain Everything. Explain Everything has been around for quite a while and has a lot of features for you to utilize, including collaborating with your students on the fly, recording audio and video right into your whiteboard. In this week's newsletter, we are going to look at various resources to incorporate Explain Everything into your classroom and ways to get your students started collaborating right away. Let's not waste any more time. Let's dive in. As you can see, there are a lot of resources on this week's newsletter, and they're all interactive. So again, anytime that you see my little Bitmoji pointing somewhere, that is a link on the newsletter. So I just want to go through, to begin, some of the links in this week's newsletter. So the first link that I have is here, the little whiteboard. So if you click on this link, it will actually take you to a drawing. And the drawing is a layout that you can print and will talk you through all of the different tools that you have available within Explain Everything. And I'll go through these tools here when I actually give the demonstration for Explain Everything. The next link down here at the bottom is actually the app that you can download, the Explain Everything app. And to coincide with that is this little link over here. You see that there are two different Explain Everything icons. There's the dark blue purplish one, and then there's the white one. And the white one is the Explain Everything EDU. And so if you click on this link, it will take you to the website that will explain to you the difference in the Explain Everything app and the Explain Everything EDU. So you can see that the Explain Everything EDU is more device-based for iOS and iPad. You can watch this little 4-minute video to see the difference. And then if you go down a little bit farther, it will actually give you a breakdown of the specifics between the two apps and why you should use them and in what situations they would be most beneficial. If you're just a teacher in your classroom and it's not district-wide, your best bet is just to use the plain old Explain Everything. If you are doing a district-wide rollout, then you'll probably want to use the white Explain Everything EDU. The next link here, if you use Google Classroom as your learning management system, this link here, this big white box, will talk you through all of the different ways that you can integrate Explain Everything with Google Classroom. So as you look at these different examples, it'll show you how to share a web video link, and you can watch the little 3-minute video. It'll talk about sharing a project, and you can watch a video on that one. It will also talk with you about how to use Explain Everything to collaborate with your students. And again, there is a short video on that. All of the videos are under 5 minutes long. The last few resources that I have talk with you about how to actually integrate and use Explain Everything in your teaching. So here are 11 different ways to use Explain Everything as a whiteboard. So if you click on this link, it will take you to a blog article on Explain Everything and walk you through 11 creative ways to use Explain Everything in your classroom. So you can see these are each links, and when you click on it, it will take you to that specific place in the blog post. And each blog post itself might have a little video that goes along with it and some other resources. So as you go through, you can see you can use it for lectures, you can use it to summarize a lesson. So there are a lot of great resources right in this one blog post to show you how to, maybe you need to know how to get started using Explain Everything. This is a nice little jumping off point for you to figure out how to best use it with your students. The next link here is 6 different ways to visualize ideas using Explain Everything. So if you click on this link here, it will take you to this blog article, and this will talk you through, and again, kind of similar to you saw the other one, not as many videos to help you out, but it still does give you some ideas about ways to help students visualize using Explain Everything. If you're looking for other resources on the website, you can go up to resources here. You have a blog that you can click on, and it will take you to stories, tips, and give you various inspiration on how to incorporate Explain Everything into your classroom. You can also, on resources, click on the Help Center. And the Help Center will give you different ideas on how to get started, different ways using Explain Everything, various guides. And the guides, as you can see, will help you through recording a video, using the whiteboard collaboratively, and then different integrations, and using the Explain Everything to teach your students. Another great resource here is 20 ways to use Explain Everything in the classroom. So we looked at how to use it as a whiteboard, how to use it to visualize ideas, but this is just different ways to use it creatively in the classroom. So if you click on this link, It will take you to the Book Widgets website, and it will give you different ideas on Explain Everything. So it gives you a little bit of a walkthrough on lesson introductions, homework instructions, some feedback, journaling, a little web quest, and then it also, some of these different ideas give you examples of how to use Explain Everything for maybe, for the example, a web quest. And the last link that I have here on the newsletter is keyboard shortcuts. If you click on the little PDF up in the top right-hand corner, it will take you to a little download that you can do, and it will show you exactly where the keyboard shortcuts are, and it shows you exactly what the keyboard shortcuts do when you click on those keys on your keyboard. It will also show you on the left-hand side the various keys that coincide with the tools that you will find in Explain Everything. Now that we've looked at the newsletter and the links that are available within the newsletter, let's take a deeper dive into Explain Everything itself. When you get to Explain Everything, the first thing that you can do is you can actually search or enter a code at the bottom of your screen. So, for example, if you are a teacher and you are teaching a lesson with the students, and the students are on a Chromebook and they go to Explain Everything, they can actually just enter your class code at the bottom and then join your whiteboard. If students decide to sign in at the top and create their own account, students can actually sign in with Google. And then it will pull all of their information. So when you see their name on the whiteboard, you will actually see their name as it appears in their Google login. Once you've logged in, you will see that you have different cloud projects. Now, if you are using the free version of Explain Everything, you are only allowed 3 different whiteboards. So before I go on and actually show you Explain Everything, I just want to show you the different plans that are available. So the first one that you can use is the free one. And this is just for people who are maybe getting started with the platform. Maybe you're new to it. Maybe you have used it. But for starters, you are allowed up to 3 projects. You can use it on any device from a computer to a Chromebook to an iPad. I'll show you what it looks like on the iPad here in a moment. You can use collaboration with voice chat, meaning if you are in a whiteboard, you can actually turn on the voice chat with a microphone and you can talk back and forth with your students. And then you can use web video link sharing. As you move on a little bit, you can start to pay for some of the tools within Explain Everything and up your game a little bit. So with the free version, you are only allowed 500 meg worth of space, which isn't really a lot, but if you're only allowed up to 3 projects, 500 meg isn't terrible. If you do sign up for the $7 a month one, you are actually given 20 gig of actual drive, and then you can use unlimited projects. So with 20 gig and unlimited projects, your space could be eaten up pretty quickly. And then you are allowed unlimited recording and you are given email support. And then finally, if you are going to be using it in teams, maybe if you have a pod of teachers who are using it, you may choose to upgrade to the $12 one. For most people, you might find the free version works just fine, or upgrading yourself to $7 a month for an individual lesson. If you're going to be using it district-wide, you might want to talk with your tech department and figure out exactly what the pricing will be district-wide. So now that we've discussed the different payment options within Explain Everything, let's actually dive into some of the tools within Explain Everything. So when you start Explain Everything, they give you the first project. So I'm just going to click on the first project. Once the project opens, it will ask you to enable your microphone to either have it turned on or turn it off. So I have enabled my microphone already. I'm going to choose not to join with my microphone on. I'm going to mute my microphone and actually join the session. Also, when you log in, you will be walked through some of the basics. So you will get this screen and it will ask you, do you want to go through the basics? Yes or no? I'll just show you quickly what the basics look like. So as you walk through, you will be shown little GIFs on what each tool is. It will give you a short description of the tool and you can just click next. And you can go through this as quickly or as slowly as you would like. If you are done with it, you can actually just click dismiss and you can come back to it anytime by going up to the little 3 dots up in the right hand corner and going to video hints. This will walk you through the basics again, just so you can start to learn how everything works. So as you can see, when you are in Explain Everything for the first time and it shows you my first project, it actually shows you some tools. So if I use my mouse, I can actually zoom in on my project, and if I click and drag, it will drag me around the screen. And as you can see, it gives me little tips like the video hints to have me play around within Explain Everything. So much like connect the dots, I want to start at number 1, and I can read here about what the tools do. So I've selected my zoom tool and I can actually grab my pen tool and I can start to connect the dots and work through this star and read about all the different tools that are available. So select the draw tool and start connecting the dots. And I can change my color. I can change the size of my marker if I want to. So let's get something a little bit darker so it's a little bit easier to see. And so I can just start to connect my dots. And as I connect my dots on the star, I am given some more tools and tutorials here. Switch between the zoom and draw to continue connecting the dots. So I'm just going to, I can't drag up because I'm in my pencil, so it will just continue to draw on my screen. I do have the undo button in the bottom left hand corner. So it says here, switch between zoom and draw to continue connecting the dots. So I'm on my draw, I click down here on the zoom button, and now I can use my pointer to actually move more around my star. So I can continue to switch to my draw, and I can continue connecting my dots. Go back to my zoom, and I can continue to move around my star. And as I move around, as you can see, I get more and more tools. So I've got my record button at the bottom, so I can select record button to start capturing my voice and my actions. So a good way for you to provide the students with a little demonstration of what needs to be done. Maybe either it's on the Explain Everything whiteboard, or maybe it's in a totally different program that you might be using, whether it's a PDF or a slideshow. Either way, it will record your slides and actions. So you can see as I get to the top of my star, I have some more instructions. So I can select the record button to start capturing my voice and action. So down here at the bottom center, I can start recording my voice and action. So I can click Start Record, and you can see that it is recording, and I can start to do some actions. Maybe I grab my pen tool again, and I start to capture the rest of my star. I've got that. I can stop. And then here is my little video. Once I'm done recording my video, I have a little video web link here. I can click on this. I can copy the video web link, and I can share this anywhere that I need to have it shared. When I'm done, I click Done. I can actually allow students to download the project if they want to. When I click on the little drop down arrow here, this will close my timeline, and I continue to move on. I'm not going to go through the whole star. When you open up Explain Everything for the first time, you can actually walk through the different steps here. You can watch the introductory videos, or you can highlight and connect the dots on the star to learn about all the different tools that are available. Now that I'm back on my dashboard, if I click on New Project, I have the option to start with something. So I can start with just a blank canvas. I can start with a template. So you can see that there are various templates here from which you can choose. You can choose a custom color, green and black chalkboard. You have meeting notes, you have a Venn diagram, you have just a plain old notepad if you want that. I can also choose to start with a file, whether it's a JPEG, an MP4 movie, or a PDF. Let's try a PDF. So I have my PDFs here. I'm just going to choose this one. It will take a minute to open the document. Again, it tells me if it wants me to enable the microphone. I'm going to mute that. So now that I have this as my background image, I can do anything I want to. I have my pen tool, I have my highlighter tool, I can bucket fill, I can insert a shape. And again, when you insert your shapes, you've got different color choices, line thickness. If I click on the shape at the top, I have just a few shapes. I have a text box here with the A. So now that I've chosen the pointer tool, you can see as I move around, I have a red pointer that directs students to specifically at what to look. This is my inspector tool, and my inspector tool allows me to do various things. I can group and ungroup, I can duplicate an object, I can paste, I can flip it left and right or up and down, or I can set the image as my background. So if I go up to the top up here and I click on the plus, I can actually insert various things. So I can insert a picture or a screenshot, I can insert an existing video or image. When you insert an image, it actually gives you the little image editor, so you can crop that if you want to, you can rotate it, you can undo. When you're done, you just choose done, and then your image will be dropped into the document. And so now I have my image here. If I go to my inspector, you can see that I can do various things with these. I can group these together. I can set my image as the background if I want to. Now it's set as my background. So various things that you can do when you insert different things and use the inspector. So again, I can add a file. If I have some existing audio already on my computer, I can add that, or I can also add clip art. So you can see when I click on clip art, I have the option to add different doodles to my board. I can do a search. So here's a dog. If I click on the clip art, I've got this as my option to add. So I can choose to move the dog around somewhere that works best on my screen. So I can choose to zoom in and out. I just click on the little zoom and pan at the bottom, and I can use the scroll wheel on my mouse. And I actually have the whole screen to use. My whiteboard is infinite, right? So I can go as far to the left or as far to the right as I want. I have my mail picture as my background. I'm just going to cover that up because it's getting a little distracting. So there are a lot of great tools here within Explain Everything. I'm going to go back out and show you what it looks like to join from an iPad onto a blank Explain Everything. So now I'm in a blank Explain Everything. So you can see at the top, this is the Explain Everything code that the students need to come and join my blank whiteboard. So if I click on this, I can copy the invite link. You'll see the different people that are on the board right now, and then I can choose to change my permissions. I can also change the scenario. So I've got an open collaboration. I have a presentation where everybody follows my presentation. So now let's show you what it looks like for you to have someone join. So here's what Explain Everything looks like on the iPad. Now the great thing is when you first bring it up, you're actually brought to this screen. And this screen shows you different ways to use Explain Everything. And you have the Try It Out button right here in the middle. So if I click on the Try It Out, it actually opens up this presentation for me to look at. And it gives me little information on the side to show me exactly how to use it to present. And when I'm done, I just go up into the top left corner and I just exit out of it. And I can go to the next one. So I have the arrows on the side so I can look at how to record videos. Again, the Try It Out button. I can talk about sketchnoting, or maybe I want to teach with it. So let's look at Try It Out Teach. And again, I have all my tools over on the side. All of these tools are interactive. I can mess around with this template as much as I want. It doesn't matter because it's just an example one for you to use that comes on the iPad. So I'm not going to sign in because if I sign in as myself, it'll show me in the board twice. But what I am going to do is I'm going to go down here to Join Project. And then I'm going to put in that code. Remember, the code is up here in the top right-hand corner. Once I have the code in, I press Join. When I've joined, again, it gives me the same options as it did before to enable the microphone. So I'm going to choose to remember my choice and mute microphone and join the board. So now you can see up in the top right-hand corner, it will show me exactly who is in the board. So we've got myself on my computer, and then the iPad is actually the E. So now that I'm in the iPad, I actually have control of these tools as well. So as I'm writing on them, it works in real time. And you can see on the computer side of things, it works in real time as well. So now you see it on the computer. I'll change my pen color, and I'm just going to start to write. I'll add a shape. So now I'm going to show you what happens when you change from open collaboration to presentation. So let me change to presentation. You can see here that it says enjoy the show, view only mode. So now all of the tools over on the left-hand side are gone. If I change back to open collaboration at the top, you'll see sharpen your pencils, editing is enabled, and all of my tools come back. And the tools that the teacher has versus the tools that the student has are all the same. So when I'm in presentation mode and the teacher is moving around, I see exactly what happens on the teacher screen. So much like Prezi, you are viewing exactly what the teacher sees as they maneuver around there. Explain Everything. There's a lot to Explain Everything if you can think of various creative ways to utilize it in your classroom. But ultimately, if you think about it, it is just a giant whiteboard for you to use with your students in an open collaboration fashion. So you can put a bunch of stuff on here, different PDFs, different images onto this board, and then move from one thing to the next and start to work with your students. And they get a copy right in front of them. So there are a lot of ways for you to utilize Explain Everything with your students. You just have to kind of wrap your mind around the fact that it is one giant whiteboard. With the free version, you're only allowed one page. As you start to pay the $7 a month or $12 a month, you can actually add more pages and more, we'll call them slides, to your Explain Everything. But as it is now with the free version, you're just allowed one giant long whiteboard. Either way, left to right, up and down, you just move around and use just this plain white space. If you think this has some great possibilities, again, look at the 11 different ways to use a whiteboard in your classroom, the 6 ways to visualize ideas, or 20 ways to use Explain Everything in your classroom. A lot of great resources, and check out the Explain Everything blog. That's it for this episode of the Ed Newsstand podcast. I really appreciate you listening to the podcast or watching the video version on YouTube because I know your time is valuable. Don't forget to check out Explain Everything and their blog for exciting ways to use Whiteboard and their resources in your classroom. For more EdTech resources, you can follow my social media, where you can find me on Twitter at ReynoldsTroy or on Instagram at ednewsstand. If you're listening on any podcast platform and would like to hear more, please like and subscribe to receive updates and have any new episode automatically downloaded for you. You can also revisit my previous episodes on any major podcasting platform like Spotify, Anchor.fm, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio. If you'd like to download my app to have my podcast and newsletters right on your smart device, please check it out at ednewsstand.glideapp.io and save the app to your home screen. If you don't want the app but would like to check out my resources, please visit my website at ednewsstand.weebly.com. This is Troy Reynolds, and this is the Ed Newsstand Podcast, hoping you were able to take away at least one idea for your classroom. Please be safe. Until next time.